I'm Vasil, and I've been behind the wheel for 20 years. My Renault Magnum is my faithful companion. When July hits, the runs from Odessa turn into a special kind of hell. The asphalt melts, and the heat just pushes down on you. This time I was hauling sunflower oil. I left the port in the evening, hoping the night chill would help, but somewhere near Uman, in the dead of night, disaster struck. First, bang, one tire on the trailer. A minute later, bang, the second one blew. Damn heat, I cursed, switching on the hazard lights. I knew it was the worst case scenario, 2 flats, and I only had 1 spare. I got to work. It was hard labor. The sweat was blinding me when I finished with the first tire. I shone my flashlight around the roadside to check my tools. That's when my beam caught something strange in the grass, about 10 meters away. It was a small grave. A mound of earth, surrounded by stones, and a faded photo on a wooden board. A man with a mustache sitting behind the wheel of an old Kamaz truck. A trucker's monument, it seemed. I squatted down. The inscription on the stone was barely visible. Petro. Returned home. And right next to it, on the ground at the base, lay a tire. Perfect, clean, looking like it had just come off the balancing machine, and, most importantly, it was a perfect fit for me. I was seized by fear and relief all at once. Where did it come from? Why here? Was this some kind of joke? But I was stuck in the middle of the night with a load and 2 flats. It was a gift, sent, apparently, by this Petro. I rolled the tire over. It fit the axle without any trouble. Thank you, mate, I whispered into the darkness. I promise, I'll bring it back. Right here, you saved my life. I quickly finished the job, tossed the busted tires onto the trailer, and drove off. I thought about Petro on the road, but in the frantic pace of the subsequent runs and constant fatigue, that promise quickly faded. It had just been an incredible stroke of luck, nothing more. Half a year passed. It was late autumn, and it was raining. I arrived at a warehouse in Brody for loading. I had plenty of time, so I decided to catch some sleep. I reclined the seat and wrapped myself in a blanket. I had a dream. I was standing next to my truck. Out of the darkness came the man, Petro from the photograph. He was calm, but his gaze was heavy and sad. "Hello, Vasil," he said quietly, like the rustle of the wind. "Petro," I could barely utter. "Yes, you made it back then. That's good, I helped, trucker to trucker. But you promised to return my tire." He nodded toward my trailer, where that same tire had been sitting for half a year. My heart sank. I felt like a petty thief who had forgotten about a stolen item. "You said, I'll return it. But you didn't. It's lying there, waiting for me." "It's mine, Vasil. You're not a greedy man, I know, but a promise is a promise." Petro looked me straight in the eye. "Bring it back to me or you won't get far. I'll be waiting for you." I woke up abruptly. Rain, darkness. I was drenched in cold sweat. This wasn't just a dream, it was a reproach. My conscience, buried under fatigue, had finally spoken. I jumped out of the cab and shined my flashlight on the tire. There it was, evidence of my debt. "You know what, friend?" I muttered to myself. "You are absolutely right." I immediately pulled out my notepad and pen. The first thing I would do when I got back to Odessa was buy a new, top-quality tire. And then, I would drive to that same stretch of highway near Uman. I would take his tire off, put the new one on, and bring his back to Petro's grave and leave it there, just as I had promised. My road debt had to be paid. Only then could I drive on in peace.